Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm jumping straight into this one because what just happened in Washington has the potential to put an extra $2,200 directly into the pockets of millions of Americans, and I'm talking about veterans, retirees, and Social Security recipients. If you've been watching the news lately, you might have caught whispers about some movement on Social Security reform, but what most outlets aren't telling you is that a Senate panel just quietly advanced a relief package that could be a game changer. And here's the thing, this isn't some distant possibility we're talking about, this is happening right now, with real momentum behind it. I've been covering policy and legislative developments for over 8 years, and I can tell you that when something moves this quickly through committee, especially involving Social Security, it's worth paying attention to. What makes this even more significant is the timing. We're seeing unprecedented bipartisan cooperation on an issue that's typically been a political landmine. That alone should tell you something big is happening. So stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what this package includes, who it affects, and most importantly, what it means for your monthly benefits. Plus, I've got some exclusive insights from my sources on the Hill that you won't find anywhere else. Before we dive into the specifics, let me give you the essential background here. Social Security has been under financial pressure for years, we all know this. The trust fund is projected to face shortfalls in the coming decade, and meanwhile, inflation has been eating away at the purchasing power of fixed-income Americans, especially our seniors and disabled veterans. What we're seeing now is a bipartisan response to that crisis. This $2,200 relief package isn't just another political talking point. It's a targeted intervention designed to provide immediate relief while broader Social Security reform gets worked out. The package focuses on 3 main areas: cost of living adjustments, veteran disability compensation improvements, and what they're calling emergency supplemental payments for the most vulnerable recipients. When I say Senate panel, I'm referring to the Senate Finance Committee, which has jurisdiction over Social Security matters. This committee just voted 14-6 to advance this package to the full Senate, and that bipartisan support is actually remarkable given how divided Congress has been on fiscal issues. The fact that they managed to get Republicans and Democrats to agree on anything related to Social Security spending tells us this issue has reached a tipping point. Here's why this matters more than typical legislative theater. Social Security recipients haven't seen meaningful increases that actually address inflation in years. The standard cost of living adjustments have been modest at best, and they haven't kept pace with real-world price increases in housing, healthcare, and food. This package represents a departure from that incremental approach. Now, I want to show you the actual committee footage from yesterday's session, because what happened in that room tells us everything we need to know about the urgency behind this legislation. Pay close attention to Senator Johnson's remarks around the 2:30 mark. His language here is crucial because it signals something significant about the timeline for implementation. But before we roll this clip, I need you to listen for 3 specific things. First, the repeated mentions of immediate relief. That's code for expedited processing. Second, watch for any discussion about the funding mechanism, because that's where the real politics happen. And third, notice how they're framing this as emergency relief rather than permanent reform. That distinction matters for how quickly this can move through the legislative process. Okay, I have to be honest with you. Watching that footage gave me chills, and here's why. Did you catch what Senator Johnson said about the unprecedented nature of this situation? That wasn't political rhetoric. That was an admission that they know Social Security recipients are in crisis right now, and they can't wait for comprehensive reform to provide relief. But here's what really struck me: the way they kept emphasizing veterans and retirees specifically. This isn't coincidental messaging. They're targeting 2 groups that have overwhelming public support, and that's smart politics. It's also a signal that they're serious about getting this passed quickly. The contradiction I want to highlight is this. For months, we've been hearing about how there's no money for Social Security improvements, how any changes need to be fiscally responsible and gradual. But suddenly, when faced with political pressure and an election year, they found a way to deliver $2,200 in relief payments. It makes you wonder what else they could accomplish if they had the political will. Here's what I've uncovered that you won't hear in the mainstream coverage. I spent the last 2 days digging through the committee documents, and this package is actually much more comprehensive than what's being reported. The $2,200 figure everyone's talking about, that's just the average. Some recipients could see significantly more. I found 3 separate funding streams they're using to make this work. First, there's a reallocation from the general fund, essentially moving money that was earmarked for other programs. Second, they're using what they call administrative savings from modernizing Social Security's computer systems. And third, and this is the part that surprised me, they're implementing a temporary surtax on high earners that kicks in at $400,000 in annual income. But here's the kicker. Buried in the legislative language is a provision that makes these payments recurring, not one-time. The media is reporting this as emergency relief, but the actual text suggests this could become a permanent feature of Social Security. That's huge, and it's not getting the attention it deserves. I also discovered something interesting about the timeline. While they're saying this could be implemented within 90 days of passage, my sources on the Hill tell me the Social Security Administration has already begun preliminary work on the distribution system. They're moving faster than they're letting on publicly. What's particularly fascinating is the political calculation here. By packaging this as emergency relief rather than permanent reform, they're avoiding the usual budget scoring requirements that would typically kill a proposal of this magnitude. It's a clever workaround that demonstrates how serious they are about getting this done. Additionally, I've learned that the veteran-specific provisions go beyond just the $2,200 baseline. Veterans with service-connected disabilities rated at 70% or higher could see supplemental payments of up to $500 on top of the standard relief amount. That's not widely reported, but it's right there in the committee markup documents. Look, I'll be completely honest with you. This whole situation frustrates me. Not because relief is coming, but because it took a crisis to get here. I've been covering stories about seniors choosing between medication and groceries, about disabled veterans waiting months for benefit adjustments, about retirees whose fixed incomes can't keep up with inflation. The fact that Congress can suddenly find $2,200 per recipient when they want to shows me that the resources were always there. The political will wasn't. And that makes me angry for everyone who's been struggling while politicians played games with their financial security. But I'm also genuinely hopeful about what this represents. This isn't just about the money, though that money will change lives. This is about establishing a precedent that Social Security recipients deserve better than the bare minimum. It's about recognizing that our veterans and retirees built this country and deserve to live with dignity. I want to hear from you in the comments. How would an extra $2,200 impact your life or the life of someone you care about? Are you skeptical about whether this will actually happen, or are you optimistic about the momentum we're seeing? And if you're a veteran or retiree, what other changes would you like to see in Social Security? Your stories and perspectives help shape how I cover these issues, so please share them. Let me bring this all together for you. A Senate panel has just advanced a $2,200 Social Security relief package with bipartisan support. This isn't just political theater. The funding mechanisms are in place, the timeline is aggressive, and the political pressure is real. Veterans and retirees stand to benefit significantly, and contrary to media reports, this could become a permanent enhancement to Social Security rather than a one-time payment. Why should you care? Because if you are receiving Social Security benefits, if you're a veteran, if you're approaching retirement, or if you care about someone who fits these categories, this legislation could fundamentally change their financial security. We're talking about real money in real bank accounts, potentially as soon as 3 months from now. But beyond the immediate financial impact, this represents a shift in how Congress approaches Social Security. For the first time in decades, we're seeing proactive relief rather than reactive cuts. That's a precedent worth paying attention to, regardless of your political affiliation. If this information was valuable to you, please hit that like button. It helps more people find this content when they need it most. And I want to continue following this story as it develops, so subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. This is the kind of breaking news that affects millions of Americans, and I'm committed to keeping you informed every step of the way. Drop a comment below with your thoughts on this package, your questions about how it might affect you, or your own experiences with Social Security. I read every comment, and your engagement helps me understand what topics matter most to this community. If you're a veteran, tell me about your experience with disability benefits. If you're a retiree, let me know how inflation has affected your budget. These personal stories help me provide better coverage of issues that actually impact your daily life. Before you go, check out my previous video about Social Security reform proposals. I'll link it in the description. It provides crucial context for understanding how this relief package fits into the broader conversation about the future of Social Security. And if you're interested in how this might affect veterans specifically, I've got a deep dive on veteran benefits that you'll find helpful. Also, make sure to share this video with anyone you know who might be affected by this legislation. That includes parents, grandparents, disabled family members, or veteran friends. This information is too important to keep to yourself, and social media algorithms often suppress content about government benefits, so your shares really make a difference in getting this information to people who need it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one where we'll continue keeping our eyes on Washington and the policies that matter most to you. Remember, staying informed isn't just about being a good citizen, it's about protecting your financial future.